But whosoever hath this world's good, and seeth his brother have need, and shutteth up his bowels of compassion from him, how dwelleth the love of God in him? 1 John chapter 3 and verse 17. John is saying that love is not a sentiment, it is that which expresses itself in action. James also had a great deal to say about this in his epistle. There he wrote, if a brother or sister is naked uh, and destitute of daily food, and one of you say unto them, depart in peace, and be warmed and filled, notwithstanding, he gave them not those things which are needful to their bodies. What doth it profit? James chapter 2, verse 15 and 16. Now we have at our, we don't have clothing. I have some shirts at the church. Um, I'm not very big on the clothing ministry because it takes up a lot of space. But there are, I'm very disappointed that the uh, well, Goodwill no longer does the voucher system. We used to be able to, you could turn in your, you could donate stuff to Goodwill. They give you a voucher, you take it to your church, and then that would give you credit for so many bags, and you could write somebody out a receipt, and they could go to Goodwill and get a bag of clothes, and then you wouldn't have to have a room full of clothes at the church. And the we have plenty of food at the church to give to those who are in need. We have it at the. No, it's one of the things we do is we feed for Celebrate Recovery. People they can't listen if they are hungry, and then uh, so those are the things that we should take care of them. One of the things that I always like to point out, though, is don't give people money, give them what they need. Like you walk up to a homeless person who's holding a sign. I don't care what's on the sign. You can read the sign before you go up, but you sit down beside them and you say, "What do you need the most?" And, and then you know, take them to eat or take them to a motel and give them a room, whatever they say. Help them out in that way. When a brother is, and now it says brother, it doesn't say a stranger. So you might need to be careful with that too. I'm often saying we need to practice this with people that are members of our church. I know that's probably one of the reasons the government has taken it away from us, but we probably need to think about being a brother or sister that's in need that we're helping, rather than the stranger world that just wants to take advantage of Christians because we have the capability for because of the way we live to have more money or have more means, have more ability to help others, and they want to take advantage of that. They want to live in the world and want to live righteous lives and that sort of thing, and then for us come in and rescue them, enable them in a way. So many times, the people we're seeing, you give them food or gas or different things, and they're going to use the money that they were going to buy, even though you're actually, instead of giving them cash, you're giving them something. You're going and buying it for them, and then they don't have to buy uh, the they can take that money that they would have had to have bought food or uh, gas or a place to sleep. Um, they can take that money and buy drugs and alcohol and gamble it down at the truck. Most of them go down to the here in Berea to the truck stop and gamble it away. Timothy, that I put him up for a few months in my rehab. where I first started, and he walked away. But that was his problem. I saw him down there a few times this summer, holding up a sign. And he takes the money he gets, and instead of getting him a motel room, he goes and gambles it away. You know, and that's the sad thing. The other thing is, by being a brother and sister in the church knows the history of this individual. They know whether that they should be helped, uh, and that sort of thing. Yes, we feel for people and that sort of thing, but I think it's interesting here. It says brother or sister, so that really can mean a lot of things. When a brother is in need, uh, comes to some folk, they simply say, "I'll pray for you, brother." But the important thing is whether or not our love is manifested in what we are doing. One of the most tragic things in the world will be when many believers come into the presence of Christ, having had this world's goods down here and not having used them for the cause of Christ. In a family situation, you may talk about loving, but love is not made in the parlor or in the bedroom. Love is made in the kitchen. A man may leave his home at 5 o'clock in the morning and explain it by saying, "I'm going to work. I have a wife and two kids to feed." You might say to him, "I wouldn't worry about them. You are not going to make a fool of yourself by going out and killing yourself working for them, are you?" He will tell you, "I sure am. I love them and they are mine." If you want, if you went up into the kitchen of his home, and you would likely find his wife up early in the morning, having burned her fingers taking the biscuits out of the hot oven. The poor girl is tired and weary in the evening when he gets home, and yet she continues to work and care for the children. You say to her, "I wouldn't be bothered if I were you," but she says, "This man is my husband, and I love him." Real love gets into action. We see it in a home where there is love between a man and a woman, but what about love among believers? That's one of the things I kid my wife about. I, uh, she wants me to tell her I love her. And I tell her, "Well, would you rather for me to tell you I love you or show you I love you?" She says both. Anyway, it ought to get into action. It ought to start doing something one for another. Until it does, my friend, it is the worst kind of hypocrisy. You express your love of the brethren, but what you do for them, not by what you say. My tongue is very good at running away ahead of my feet. But true Christianity, the real article, is a matter of the heart and not of the head or the tongue. Tell John tells us very definitely here that we are children of God. We will manifest His love.